Hi, this is Eric with iFixPhones.com, and this is part of the iPhone 3G module. Hey, this is Eric with iFixPhones.com, and today I'm going to show you how to replace the battery on your iPhone 3GS. Now, this is a fairly invasive process. We pretty much have to take the whole phone apart to get to the battery, but it's doable. Follow the easy steps, and let's get started. First, we're going to remove the bottom two screws using our Phillips head screwdriver. That's a 000 screwdriver, Phillips head. And as always, we're going to use the grid method here, and that means we put everything from top to bottom and left to right as we remove it out of the phone. Next, we're going to use a suction cup to gently remove the screen, and we're going to use one of our little spudger tools here to very gently disconnect the LCD screen, the digitizer, and the speaker and proximity sensor cable. So we'll go ahead and set that to the side. Next, we need to remove the 8 screws that hold the motherboard in place. And in order to get to this 5th screw down here, you have to lift up on this little number 7 cable. That number 7 cable is part of your antenna for your phone. To get to one of the screws on the bottom left-hand side, we have to lift up the number 4 connector. There we go. And now that we have those 8 screws out, we have the number 4 and the number 7 connector undone already. So now we need to undo the number 6 connector and the number 5 connector. Before we can take out the motherboard, we need to remove the SIM card. And we need to lift up on the battery right here. And just kind of, so now that we've got all of that, we're going to very gently remove the motherboard with our little spudger tool here, and it should just pop right out and slide out like so. Now, all we really need to do to replace this battery, and as you can see we have a new one right here, is lift up underneath. And as you can see, this phone has been taken apart before, so it came out pretty easily, but there is adhesive that sits underneath this battery that we need to keep the battery in place. Now, if you tear that adhesive, or if the battery like this one that you buy doesn't come with any new one, I highly suggest taking some additional double-sided adhesive like I have here and putting it inside the phone to make sure that the battery does not slide around. We'll put 2 strips in there. Most of the time when you take the old battery out, you can reuse the adhesive, but in this case, the adhesive was damaged, so we're going to use a new piece. And again, this battery is going to slip right in here. It's a really easy process. Watch out for that number 5 connection as you put it in there, and it's a pretty easy way to get it in here because you'll notice in this corner right here that there's a little hole for the battery connections to sit in, and you just go ahead and tap it in there like so. Once the new battery is in, gently take your motherboard, beware of the number 7, number 4 connections, and just slide it right back in like so. And again, I'm going to use my tweezers here to move the number 4 out of the way and this number 7 connection out of the way, being mindful of all the pads. Oh, number 4 slipped under there again. There we go. Now it's underneath and we've got it snapped back into place. And the last thing we need to do before we put the phone together is actually replace this number 2 pad. One of the biggest mistakes that most iPhone shops make is that they don't replace the pads. What people don't understand is that these things that are on the back of the LCD screen, when you put the phone back together, these actually come in contact with those pads and hold them in place. If you don't put them in there and somebody drops their phone, they may not break their screen again, but at the same time, their screen may quit working because they didn't have the pad on there to make sure that it was held down properly. So I'm going to reposition the number 2 pad right here on the new LCD screen, or on the new digitizer cable. I'm going to fold these guys back. And this number 3 ribbon cable can be a little tricky to get in. I always tell people, think of it like a car going into a garage. If there was a speed bump right in front of your garage door, you want to kind of drag the ribbon cable just up in front of it, and then as soon as it goes over the speed bump, just slide it in. There we go. And then latch down the latch. Now you want to lay the phone flat real quick, and you want to make sure that this little guy, the little plastic piece that protects the new screen, is out of the way. Lift it back up. And with your finger, you want to just gently reattach the LCD and the digitizer cables inside the phone. Make sure they're down real firm and tight. And go ahead and close the phone. The last thing we're going to do is put the final 2 screws in the bottom of the phone. Just like that. And just for good measure, we're going to go around the edge of the phone with our fingers one good time to really set that adhesive in. We want to make sure that it's in there good and tight. Put the SIM card back in, and there you have it.
Thank you for taking the time to work through our training modules. If you have any questions, comments, or even areas of improvement that you think we can do better in, contact us, please. We are your support system. We're here to help you be the best that you can be at iPhone repair. If you're seeing this, you can check out all of our guides, resources, tutorials, etc. at www.ifixphones.com.